You're listening to Full Circle Weekly news of the open source community presented by Full Circle Magazine. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready, and I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 436, covering week 42, October 13th to 19th, 2025. Carol Herbst proposed the CUDA driver for inclusion in Mesa. It implements the Gallium API on top of the CUDA API provided by NVIDIA's proprietary driver. Gallium is used in Mesa to abstract driver development and implement standard driver APIs that are not specific to individual hardware devices. CUDA implements compute-related interfaces sufficient to implement the OpenCL specification on top of CUDA. CUDA is expected to address issues with using OpenCL over NVIDIA's proprietary driver. Using an additional framework allows for the implementation of missing OpenCL extensions in the NVIDIA stack based on the proprietary driver. CUDA utilizes the libcuda.so library, which is included in NVIDIA's GPU drivers and is not tied to the CUDA runtime. In its current form, the CUDA-based OpenCL implementation supports memory operations and enables the execution of compute kernels. Mozilla has begun testing Firefox VPN, a free VPN service built into Firefox that allows users to access websites indirectly via intermediary servers in various countries, hiding their IP address. The VPN will be the first service implemented as part of an initiative to integrate additional privacy and security tools into Firefox. The service is in the early stages of implementation and will be offered to a small percentage of randomly selected users as a trial over the next few months. It's worth noting that Firefox VPN is not associated with the paid Mozilla VPN service, which is a full-fledged system-wide VPN. Firefox VPN is free and limited to one browser. Currently, Firefox VPN is enabled and disabled for the entire browser using a button in the address bar, but the developers promise to add the ability to selectively enable a VPN for individual tabs or for specific websites. The Technical Committee, which makes final decisions on contentious technical issues within the Debian project, has approved a change to the systemd package that modifies the behavior of the /var/lock directory. Since release 258, the systemd system manager has restricted writing to /var/lock to root users, while the Debian Technical Committee has approved maintaining the old behavior of allowing all users to write to /var/lock. Debian project guidelines require preserving the original behavior of applications when packaging. Making Debian-specific changes to packages that violate the project guidelines requires special permission from the Technical Committee. The need to restrict access to the /var/lock directory is explained by the systemd developers to protect against DOS attacks. The /var/lock directory is a symbolic link to the /run/lock directory. The partition containing the /run directory is usually mounted separately via TMPFS, and the ability to write to it without permission can be used to fill the partition and block the creation of new files in the /run hierarchy. To prevent such attacks from occurring with unrestricted access, Debian previously used a patch that mounted /run/lock on a separate small TMPFS partition. Last year, this patch was replaced with the run-lock point mount unit, and this summer, this unit was removed, leaving /run/lock on the /run partition. Tails 7.1 has been released. The distribution is based on Debian 13, ships with the GNOME 48 desktop, and is designed for anonymous web browsing using the Tor toolkit. All connections except those through the Tor network are blocked by default by a packet filter. Encryption is used when saving user data between launches. A live image is available for download. Check the link in the show notes for new features and updates. Linux Mint Debian Edition 7 has been released based on Debian 13. The distribution is available as an ISO installation image with the Cinnamon 6.4 desktop environment. LMDE includes most of the improvements found in the classic Linux Mint 22.2 release, as well as original developments from the project. The distribution is fully compatible with Debian 13, but not package-wise with Ubuntu or classic Linux Mint releases. The Raven OS 0.6 project has been released, a free BSD-based operating system aimed at achieving compatibility with macOS applications and providing a macOS-style user interface. The project's code is distributed under the BSD license. The bootable image is for x86-64 architectures. The project's stated goals include achieving compatibility with macOS applications at both source and executable levels. The former implies the ability to recompile macOS application code for execution on Raven OS, while the latter latter involves integrating kernel and instrumentation changes to run Mach-O executables built for the x86-64 and ARM64 architectures. File system supported includes ZFS and the HFS Plus and APFS file systems used in macOS. For macOS compatibility, a partial implementation of the Cocoa API and Objective-C runtime, located in the /system/library/frameworks directory, is provided, along with compilers and linkers modified to support them. In addition to the macOS compatibility layer, Raven OS also supports Linux applications based on FreeBSD's Linuxolator. Zorin OS 18, based on Ubuntu 24.04, has been released. The distribution's target audience is novice users accustomed to Windows. For desktop customization, the distribution offers a dedicated configuration tool that allows you to customize the desktop to match various versions of Windows and Mac OS, and includes a selection of applications similar to those Windows users are accustomed to. Zorin OS uses GNOME as the desktop platform, with a set of custom add-ons and a panel based on Dash-to-Panel and Dash-to-Dock. Zorin Connect is included for desktop integration with smartphones, in addition to deb packages and Ubuntu repositories. Support for Flatpak, AppImage, and Snap formats is enabled by default, with the ability to install programs from FlatHub and the Snap Store. Mobian 13.0, a Debian GNU/Linux release for smartphones and tablets, is now available. It features custom shells based on GNOME and KDE technologies, including Phosh and KDE Plasma Mobile. The project is developed using the Debian infrastructure and, where possible, relies on standard packages from the Debian repositories, along with a small number of additional packages. Builds are available for the x86-64 architecture, the Purism Librem 5 smartphone, and various ARM devices on Qualcomm chips, Rock chips, and the all-winner Sunchi. The QMMP 2.3 music player has been released. The player features a simple interface using standard elements and a classic interface that replicates the XMMS/Winamp/Audacious interface. OSS4, ALSA, Pulse Audio Jack, Qt Multimedia, IceCast, Waveout, Direct Sound, and Wasapi can be used for audio output. The code is written in C++ using the Qt library and is distributed under the GPL v2 license. Ready-to-use packages have been created for Ubuntu. A set of additional modules, QMMP Plugin Pack 2.3, has also been released, adding experimental support for MPV. The stable branch of Asterisk 23 communications platform has been released, used for deploying software-based PBXs, voice communication systems, VoIP gateways, IVR systems, voicemail, conference calls, and call centers. The project's source code is written in C and is available under the GPL v2 license. Asterisk 23 is categorized as a standard support release, with updates provided over a 2-year period. LTS releases focus on stability and performance optimization, while standard releases prioritize feature additions. MyLibrary 4.2.1 has been released. The program code is written in C++ and is available on the GPL v3 license. The graphical user interface is implemented using the GTK4 library. The program is compatible with Linux and Windows. MyLibrary catalogs book files in FB2, EPUB, PDF, DJVU, ODT, text, and MD formats, both directly accessible and packed into archives, and creates its own database without modifying the original files or changing their location. The FBD format is also available for cataloging, which can store any files, not just books. Collection integrity and change control are monitored by creating a database of file and archive hash sums. Books can now be searched for by various criteria and read using the default program installed on the system for opening the corresponding file formats. When a book is selected, its abstract and cover are displayed if available. Displaying a list of files in a collection, a list of books included in a specific file, a list of authors in a collection, and a list of books for which the user has created notes is supported. Nate Graham has published the latest KDE development report. The most notable changes being developed for the release of KDE Plasma 6.6 scheduled for February 12th include, by default, Wi-Fi passwords are stored in a global context accessible only to the root user. This change will allow new users to immediately access the network if the system is previously connected to Wi-Fi without having to log in again. Functions requiring an internet connection, such as using LDAP account, will also work immediately on the login page. The application dashboard widget now takes into account the selected color scheme for display in light tones in the light design mode. By default, the menu remains dark. The ability to resize the favorites and regular app sections has been added to allow one to have more screen space. Forge Joe 13.0 has been released. It allows users to deploy a system for collaboratively working with Git repositories on their servers, similar in its capabilities to GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitLab. Forge Joe was spun off Git in 2022 following attempts to commercialize Git and the transfer of control to a commercial company. Forge Joe adheres to the principles of independent governance and community control. Git hosting service Codeberg.org has switched to using Forge Joe. The project's code is written in Go and is licensed under the GPL v3 The platform's key features include low resource consumption and a simple installation process. A special feature is the ability to use the ActivityPub protocol to federate individual developer servers. Node.js 25.0.0, an asynchronous event-driven JavaScript runtime, is designed to build scalable network applications. Node.js 25.0 is an intermediate branch supported until June 2026. Stabilization of Node.js 24 will be completed in the coming days, and it will receive LTS status at the end of October and be supported until April 2028. The official Xubuntu distribution website was compromised by unknown attackers who replaced the torrent links on the distribution's download page with a zip file. As a result, the download page now only contains links to a malicious archive and available mirrors. Xubuntu developers have not yet commented on the situation, but a few hours ago they removed the malicious archive and blocked access to the xubuntu.org/download section, redirecting it to the website's main page. The archive.org service made copies of xubuntu.org on October 11th and 18th. On October 11th, the page had not yet been modified, while on October 18th, the malicious modification was already present. The project's mirrors are unaffected, judging by a preliminary checksum analysis, and match the reference site cdimage.ubuntu.com. Traces of compromise have so far been detected only on the xubuntu.org website, which uses the WordPress content management system. The hack was presumably carried out through an out-of-date WordPress plugin containing a vulnerability. Interestingly, on September 10th, one user complained about a blog post on xubuntu.org featuring a casino advertisement, but the blog post was quickly deleted and the incident was not pursued further. They likely assumed the advertisement was inserted by malware on the user's end. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.